Hi guys, Berry Babe here checking in. And yes, I think I got something. I've been taking my cough pills and my decongestants regularly, trying to get rid of it before it gets bad. I'm sitting outside my allergist office. Isn't that a pretty woods there? Someday it'll probably be a trailer park back behind there. I think there is back behind the trees in the back of the office. I like going there, and I don't mind waiting because the back is so pretty. There's a strip of grass and then it's all woods like that. So I'm going to be on my way to lunch with the girls, and I did not weigh officially this morning. Um, I've had a rough couple of nights. Ever since I got this cardiologist appointment, I have been stressed. And I held it together food-wise until late last night, and the carbs were just screaming at me. And all I'd had for most of the day was bone broth. I had gone out and around and done a lot of errands. I had gotten my foot x-rayed. I had gotten my new glucometer. Um, Oh, I took the grandma shopping. That was a hoot. Um, she's she's the mother of my husband's childhood best friend. He and Dennis and one other boy, no, he and Dennis, there were three boys, but he and Dennis set my father-in-law's barn on fire playing with matches. This was the barn. It was a veterinary office, okay? So it wasn't a barn, except they did have a couple of horses and a donkey from time to time. And they did have a stall where there was a toilet seat on a hinge. And if you were out in the barn and you had to go, you just pull down the toilet seat and drop it into the straw. So my husband's name is Rick, R-I-C-K. And his friend's name was Dennis, and he talks about them standing up in the hayloft, writing their name in the snow with P, and how it was always hard for him to dot the I. Anyway, I know I'm up today. I got into those damn pretzels last night. I went in and I got a few, and then I realized that, those 6 bags I bought, well, 4 of them had not made it into my husband's room. So I grabbed one and I probably ate half the bag at night, in the middle of the night. And, and I was getting real close to an F it moment. And I had to be at the cardiologist this morning at 7:45 for an 8 o'clock appointment, and it's quite a little distance on the freeway, and I was going to try not to go on the freeway, but by the time I couldn't find my keys. Well, my husband had one set, and the other one was at the bottom of my purse, but I couldn't find it. And I have subsequently found it, but at the time I couldn't find it. So I got on the freeway and was praying I wouldn't have a dizzy spell while I was on the freeway, and I got there okay. They did another EKG, and my blood pressure was up. I have had so many surgeries, between the 3 bariatric surgeries and all this plastic surgery. They gave me 4 lines. I had my tonsils out and a broken arm when I was 5. I have cataract surgery. I mean, give me a break. So I said to the girl, you better take my blood pressure, because the longer I sit here, the higher it's gonna be. And it was up. My bottom number was 80 at the other doctor, and at this one it was 88. Yeah, I knew I was a little agitated. And then I didn't see the doctor until 9-ish, but he's a sweetie. I like him a lot. He's the only DO in an office full of MDs. But sometimes I found that the DOs are a little more personable. They don't have as much of a God complex. He took a lot of time with me. He listened to me. He thinks that what I think is what happened, that by using the diuretics, and I suspect keto and not drinking enough water, that in order to get my ankles clear, I have to drain my body of water, and that dehydrates me. And then that sets off that electrical problem. I am going to be wearing a monitor for up to 21 days. And he said, well, go ahead and do what you were doing. So I decided to not push to try to get it today, that if I get it put on Monday, I'll take a diuretic or two. I told him, I said I abused them, and he said he didn't really like that. I said, well, I took double the dose, and he really didn't comment. And that was irresponsible. And when I was in DC, I took a double dose several days in a row, and that's why I had that. Honest to God, I was scared. I sat in that lawn chair watching that game, and just wave after wave of the dizziness. I told him that I never passed out, and he said I probably won't. So that's good news. But I am still going to try to stick to back roads as much as possible, because I do feel kind of coming on. And even when I was on the freeway going 70, I still had control of the car, but it was like, oh shit, no, no, no. So he does want to find out whether I'm having arrhythmia or what the nature of what's going on is. So I'll know more. I'm sorry, I'm moving all over. I'm sitting in the car holding this up. My arm's getting tired. So I dodged a bullet. I was just really ready to hit McDonald's breakfast sandwich. And I thought, well, the pretzels kind of upset my system a little bit, because I've had no carbs for several days. Well, 2 full days. And 3 days maybe, I don't remember. And so then when I introduce carbs, I have some potential gastric indiscretions. So I thought, well, better not to put McDonald's in there before my appointment. I'll go after my appointment, because there's one right near there. Well, moving real into an effort moment and thinking about going to this lunch and what I could have and how far was I going to let this go. But I'm feeling so much better. I just so into the emotional eating. It's like, I think my body was starting to crave the carbs, but then the feelings of, oh my God, what if I can't drive anymore? How am I going to live my life if I can't drive? So I don't think that's going to be an issue. He went over the results of the ultrasound that I had. There's a different name for it, I don't remember. And not normal. I do have some thickening of walls here and there, which is not unusual for my age. But all in all, he thinks heart-wise, I look pretty healthy. We just have to figure out what's going on with this dizziness. So if what I think is the problem, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do keto. I don't know if that's kind of what set me up. I think I'm going to, I think I'm going to come up with a spreadsheet of sorts where I can track the amount of water I take in, when I take it in, when I take the Lasix, what time I take it, and then I'll log my swelling. And I never did measure my ankles when they were all the way down, and now they're up a little bit. So yeah, I just won't be able to drive next week if I'm setting off the monitor, because I can wear it up to 21 days. And it's not like the old days where, in the old days, old days, they put the electrodes on you and you wore it for 24 hours. Now, she said, well, he wants you to wear it for 21 days. 21 days. I'd asked him, could I take a shower? He says, well, we don't want you to be stinky. But apparently it's just something you put around your neck. And then if you feel an episode coming on, you hit the switch and it transmits. So that's why I thought, well, I'll get the appointment on Monday because I don't want to wear it on the weekend and then induce a blinger of an episode and then not have anybody there to tell me I don't have to wear it anymore. But when I told him I take it at night, he says, don't you have to get up and go to the bathroom? And I says, yeah, but I'm an old lady, I get up anyway. And it's not until I actually slow down and get into bed that I realize my ankles are swollen. So I don't know what I'm going to eat at lunch. I don't feel like I'm going to have a full-blown binge, and I'm glad for that. I may have to be looking at, when I really behave, I don't have a problem with fluid retention. So that's the answer, is to really behave, and that's no fun. So he didn't tell me I couldn't eat salt. I mean, he says, just do what you do and we'll see what happens. So I go back to see him 21 days after Monday, if not before, if we don't get results. So, I think part of my mental meltdown, I have had a couple of incidences where people have just really remarked on my thinness, people that don't usually talk to me about it. And historically, in thinking back, when someone has called me skinny, and I think maybe tiny was a trigger, it messes with my head, and it's almost like I can't be that, so I have to prove that I'm not. And I get back into the food. And it sounds really stupid, but it's just almost the same as the rebound eating. When I deny myself something, I sit in a restaurant and I don't eat, and somebody will have onion rings, and then I start obsessing about onion rings until I eat everything inside, including the onion rings. So I think while I was kind of tickled, I was starting to feel like all that. And anytime with my ADHD, anytime I'm cruising, feeling really good, it's like I'm cruising for a bruising. The higher I am, the better it feels, the lower I'm going to go. So it's almost like, I got to bring it on myself. We are such complex creatures, us humans. And I've had a lot of years. I think the doctor was actually quite impressed because he said, I think what you're saying is where it is. I says, well, I know you don't like to have people reading about the internet. He says, no. He says, I like my patients to be educated. However, if what the internet says differs from what I say, I want them to do what I say. And I said, that's fair. That's fair. So I've just about got enough time. You probably won't see this till a little bit later because I won't be able to upload it, but I wanted to get it recorded, and I'll upload it as soon as I get home or someplace that I can. So I hope you're all doing well. I'm in much better spirits coming into the weekend, and I'll probably vlog tomorrow, although I don't know. I'm sure the scale will be up still, because I probably won't be taking a diuretic to get the carb water weight off. So, okay, bye for now.